Hello, everybody, and welcome to our web talk, Going International for Your Science-Based Startup. Glad to see you. I see that the participants in the audience are joining us slowly. So welcome to everybody to this web talk of today, where we will discuss with the founders about their international experience, focusing on India and Germany and different models of cooperation. My name is Katja Lasch. I'm the director of the German Center for Research and Innovation, and I will lead you through the discussion today. I would really like to encourage everybody to put the questions in the Q&A port to the panelists, comments, whatever you want to contribute to that session. That's meant to be an interactive session. And we will take up your questions a bit later in the discussion and we'll try to answer them. Going international for your science-based startup. So I think it's a very up-to-date topic. Everybody knows that innovation and research are done on a global scale nowadays. So we have seen this also in the last month, also during the pandemic, how important international cooperation is. And even if funding a startup may have focused a regional link, linking it at an early stage is really important. And we have good examples also here. That's not just about linking at an early stage, how the benefit of an international cooperation can benefit to your startup. So we know that international aspects are crucial for innovation. And that's why we thought it's a good idea to come up with that session of today. The German Center for Research and Innovation, you might wonder why we are dealing with the topic of startups. So we have an I in our name, which is innovation, and science-based startups and deep tech startups are one of our targets. We are a network of 18 German institutions, amongst them Max Planck Society, but also the Fraunhofer Gesellschaft, but also the German Academic Exchange Service and the German Research Foundation. And we are funded by the Federal Foreign Office of Germany. And we are promoting the German research landscapes. That's what we are not doing today, and enhance research cooperation and cooperation in the innovation field. And that's what we are doing today with this web talk. We have an entrepreneurship program in place, actually, which is targeting science-based startups and entrepreneurs, so also early-stage entrepreneurs in India and Germany, where we try to connect them for innovation and for innovative ideas. But also incubators are our target group. We're developing special things for them. So we connect India and Germany in different formats. We are the Falling Walls Lab organizer. We come that a bit later in the talk. We have workshops in place for you, meetings, and we are also offering a lot of information about the Indian and German startup ecosystem, innovation ecosystem to facilitate access and soft landing for Indian startups in the direction to Germany, but also for German startups in the direction to India. And I think that's also well reflected on our panel today. So I welcome my panelists for today, and I hope for fruitful discussion. So let me introduce the panel, and the ladies first, of course, Alexandra Matzis. Alexandra is the co-founder of Arekapak, a startup incubated in Berlin. She will tell a bit later what the startup is doing. She was a DAAD scholarship holder to India, and she researches and develops on sustainable product packaging for foods and consumers. And she did her master's at the HTW Berlin, and besides that, she also funded the startup. Our second panelist is Dr. Mithun Parambat. Mithun, welcome. He's connected from Jena today. He is the CEO of CoPilots. He is a biophysical chemist with 10 years of experience in analytical microscopy and passionate about technology. And he decided then to step into the field of business and bring his idea to the market. He did studies in India, UK, and then chose to settle down in Germany for funding his startup at the Leibniz Institute for Photonic Technologies in Jena, which is a little town in eastern Germany. And our third panelist is Jens Hagemeyer. He's the co-founder of Paraccent. He has been in research, design, and development of novel computer architectures and dynamical reconfigurable hardware for more than 10 years. He's also employed at the University in Bielefeld, where did his research and his studies. Unfortunately, our fourth panelist, Suraj Mohan, cannot join us due to some family urgencies, but I think nevertheless, we have a quite interesting panel. So once again, welcome everybody to our session. To the audience, once again, if you have questions you would like to address to our panelists, please put them in the chat so that we can also take up your questions. And then I would suggest that we start in our discussion. And first of all, it would be, of course, good to know a bit our stories which we have behind and the founders we have here. So I would request our 3 panelists to introduce your startup and your journey with India and Germany in a nutshell, and explain a bit to our audience what you are doing actually and how your startup is connected to India. And yeah, I would suggest maybe Alexandra, you go first. Tell us a bit about Arakabak and yeah, how it came that you have a connection to India. And yeah, the floor is yours.
Sure. Thank you, Katja. And yeah, first of all, thanks again for having me today. I'm very looking forward to our discussion. Yeah, I'm Alexandra. I'm co-founder of Arakabak, and we are producing sustainable packaging made from palm leaves in South India. Yeah, and we are a German-Indian team, a small team, working with local manufacturers in the south, and it all started actually with the scholarship, with the DAAD scholarship for an exchange semester in India. And yeah, there we, at the one hand, yeah, saw those manufacturing units which are already there. It's like a small local industry which has developed the past years. And on the other hand, we also saw the major yeah, plastic problem which we have all over the world, but in India it was also very visible. Yeah, because of a lack of yeah, garbage systems in certain areas. And yeah, altogether we kind of thought it would be very interesting to develop this concept further. And yeah, eventually we came up with our concept.
So you're currently producing, as far as I know, already, and
Exactly.
you have an Indian partner, no? Because the startup is, as far as I know, incubated in Berlin, no?
Exactly. Yeah, we are a German company here, but we, like, in the course of time we had to also yeah, start another company in India together with our partners, because yeah, it's legally not possible to just start a business in India. And if you want to do export or yeah, produce something there, of course you have to have Indian partners. And therefore we started a second company there, and work also with external manufacturing partners.
Okay, thanks so much. So yeah, what a great story. An idea found in India, brought to Germany, and then yeah, re-brought to India for production and for partnering up. And now is the my last question, is the product to be placed in Germany? Where is your distribution are going to be for the product?
Yes, right now we are focusing on export. So like we are selling in Europe mainly, or in Germany right now. But with the Indian company, we also have the option to do it basically worldwide. So we are started small projects to South Africa from there too. So, but with Arakabak, basically we are focusing the German market for now, or European market.
Good. So then let's switch from packaging to AI. So Jens, you are the co-founder of Paraxent, and you also have good connections to India, to ICube. Maybe you can tell us a bit on your story, what you are doing, and how your connections are to India.
Thanks, Katja. So yeah, again, thanks for having me here. So the story about CubeBio AI and Paracent, I will start with the Indian part, CubeBio, which was funded by Prashant in 2018. So they are mainly working on drug repurposing and drug discovery, which is basically trying to solve the problem of the tremendous cost of drug development, so to say. As you can all imagine, that's a very cost-intensive process, especially because you need to do so many tests to even let's say come up with a good drug candidate. And that's exactly what we are trying to solve by using, let's say, a combination of molecular dynamic simulations and AI, to put it short. Let's say really identifying the best candidates that will then go into clinical tests and so on. We have a proof of concept ready now. CoPilots was founded by Prashant in 2018. So yeah, they are already working, or we are already working on this for quite some time. And then I come to the connection to the, let's say, German part, to Parexent, which was also founded in 2018, with a completely different focus. We are focusing on hardware acceleration. So basically, we have a background in microelectronics and in computer science. The connection to CoPilots is that we are basically helping them to do efficient and fast computing as all these simulations that they are doing, not just in the area of AI, but also in the area of molecular dynamics, are really compute intensive. They take long, and they need to do let's say lots and lots and lots of them. So that's the let's say technical connection between CoPilots AI based in Bangalore and Parexent based in Bielefeld, actually, which is a small town in north of Germany. So that's the story behind it. The, let's say, initial connection was made because we know each other for quite some time. So the let's say wife of Prashant was one of my bureau colleagues in the university, so that's where we get in touch, and that's why we know each other quite well. So that's a quite natural connection there, and that's basically the story. So this has been a very fruitful collaboration, I would say. They are now at really the stage of bringing the product to market. Parexent is helping with that, and has also other customers. So mainly we are let's say doing electronic or engineering services and doing hardware acceleration, let's say more focused on the local market. But this collaboration with India really strengthens our international skills, so to say, which are, as Katja mentioned, quite important nowadays.
Okay, good. Also good to see, once again, private contacts, and to see how important it is to move internationally, as the wife of the founder Prashant has been to Bielefeld, bureau colleague, and then a wonderful cooperation nourished from that contact. So over to you, Mithun. CoPilots. What is behind the name CoPilots, and why do you find yourself at the moment in the small town of Vienna?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. So CoPilots is a startup based in Vienna. We are from the University of Applied Science, Vienna. We are the incubator from the university. So the word CoPilots basically means it's for pilots or drivers, or the drivers in the mobility. So, and also Industry 4.0, we are moving to the Industry 4.0. So we are developing the main problems that we are solving is the relating mobility, such as road problems, such as drunk driving, like intoxicated driving, or the aggressive driving, or having the emotion, what are the effect of emotions on driving, drowsiness and distraction. So we combine AI with photonics and develop a retrofit camera-based system which can detect if someone is intoxicated, or someone is sleepy, or someone has a dangerous emotions or distraction, and give an alert to the driver. We have an IoT modules which connect these things, and it can be remotely monitored. So to come to the founding history, I am basically from India. Then I done my PhD in the UK, and then I got a DAAD fellowship, and I came to Germany at Leibniz Institute of Photonics, where this institute is actually institute where they want to take photonics for real world application. So then I have this idea developed. Then I discussed this idea with a professor of entrepreneurship at Fredericia University, and through him I met a student consulting organization in the university where I found my co-founder. So Hans, he's a German. So, and then we started working together for almost 1.5 years, and then we decided that we need one more co-founder in the technology space. So then we found another postdoc from Technical University Munich, who has been working in big data for 5 years, and then she also joined the company. So then we formed the founding team, and then we applied for a Kickstarter funding in the university, and we got the funding, and then we started our proof of concept. We also got our first employee, and then we also got the first pilot customer from Hungary. So this year we will be going to test by mid of September. So since it's a road-based problem we are solving, I think India is one of the biggest place and where this problem is very evident. So we are trying to go to India by end of this year. So we initially trying to build the relationship with India, talking with different incubators, talking with investors. So yeah, that's our state at the moment. So we finished the proof of concept, and we are going to launch the product by end of this year. That's where we are here. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask a question first to you. So one can wonder, so you've been to, I mean, you're coming from India, then you have been to the UK, then for studies, you went to Germany. So why did you opt to found it in Jena? I mean, it wouldn't be the US. I mean, for Indians, it's always the US, no, or the UK. Wouldn't have been that a better option to go there? So what's the benefits of placing it there? Yeah.
Yeah, it's personal reasons, family reasons. My wife is also doing PhD in Jena, so that made me come to Jena. But then I also got this funding, which was a collaborative funding between the where I done my PhD and my postdoc. It was a collaborative funding. So then I got this funding, and then we came to Jena. And then once coming here, Jena, like since my area is on photonics, Jena has a very good reputation in terms of photonics. We have big companies like Carl Zeiss, and the whole city is actually working towards like photonics. So I found that this is a good place for photonics and image processing. So then I came here, and then then all these things happened. Yeah. So the family reasons as well as my career. So.
Okay, and how was the support system there? So you find it a good support system? I mean, you're incubating at the Fachhochschule Jena, as far as I'm also. How you find that? So is that helpful, or?
Yeah, it is helpful. It was difficult due to Corona, so we were not able to go to our makerspace. We were given space in the makerspace, but we were not able to use it as often we want. So, but we get all the infrastructure. For example, we have a lot of partners. So we have for design, we want designing and the whole like we are making retrofit camera, so we need to design it. So we get some help from Bauhaus University Weimar. So they are mostly a university with a lot into architecture and design. So they are helping us in designing the prototype, like our designs, and also we have some partners, some small startups in Vienna, which is where we are trying to. They are helping us in terms of our electronic side. So this is our support that we are getting. So as well as all these things like 3D printing, all these things are there. And also, since it's a small place, we also have a very good network around in terms of photonics and camera selection. So since ANI is traditionally in the photonics industry, so that area also we are getting some support.
Okay, good. Thanks so much. So Alexander, one question to you. We know that India has a huge support system in startups, and your product is actually in India, your raw materials is in India. So did you ever have the thought to found it in India and not in Germany? And why then you took it to Germany for, why then you decided to place the company nevertheless in Germany? I mean, there's a lot of money also in the Indian market for founding, and as your product is based there, or your raw material.
Mm-hmm. Well, like you could actually say that we found it in both countries, which I said in the introduction. So, but actually, yes, initially we started in Germany, in Berlin. And that the reason for that is also like that I am myself from Berlin, and we also, me and my co-founder, we studied here, and the entire idea of founding actually came from our bachelor's degree, where we actually made the prototype and the entire concept. And yeah, then it was at first like very natural for us to go back to our college afterwards and seek for help there. So we actually also did an incubator program there, and yeah, so it was more like a kind of natural path which we followed, and did not think so much about starting in an environment which we did not know so well in terms of business. And yeah, throughout the process, we kind of noticed that actually we cannot even just do it in Germany. Like, it makes sense also for Germany, or doing it from here in order to yeah, do the supply and the distribution, because when it comes to the product itself, it actually is currently very much an export product. It also is sold in India in the domestic market, but it's not so yeah, wanted there, I would say. So it's actually, it works much better in maybe more sustainably conscious countries for now. We would like to change that in the future, but for now it also is due to the costs of the products and yeah, other things. But yeah, therefore it also made a lot of sense to have like to start here and also do the distribution and the marketing from here. Yeah, but throughout the process, we figured out that we actually have to start another company in India, because it was legally not an option to procure tools and materials that we needed, because our manufacturing partners are producing similar things, but not exactly what we wanted to make. So basically they do plates and bowls, but we wanted lockable, closable products. And yeah, therefore we needed to make our own molds in order to the shape. And that was not just, you cannot just buy it somewhere. It's not there. Basically, you have to go to a mold maker and they produce it for you. And you cannot just buy it, obviously, from somebody if you don't have a company there. It's just not allowed, because then India would assume you have a production plant somewhere, and therefore you need again Indian partners in the company. So as a German company, you cannot just go there and start a company. You always have to have Indian partners there. So yeah, that's like the kind of learning curve we also had to do throughout the process. And in the end, we're actually quite happy that we have both, that we have an export company in India.
I think we... Okay, good. Thanks, Alexander, for that insight. Jens, I would like to ask you, so my understanding is you were not looking actively into the Indian market. It was more this personal, and then this idea of your personal connections to put up that startup. So how is your cooperation working? Are you an official partner in ICube, or did you do a buy-in, or how could I imagine, or is it just two startups working together on a project and completely segregated?
So yeah, so basically it's mainly working together. So we have some, let's say minor equity on CoPilots, we as Paracent, mainly because of the support we are giving, but we are not a main investor in CoPilots, as we are also a startup, so to say. So that's how this thing worked out, so to say. Initially, it was just, let's say, the support mainly on the compute side, because there we are experts, and as said, that is one of their problems. They have, let's say, so many other problems in the biochemistry area that we could offload this thing. And yeah, that was helpful for them, and it's also, let's say, very interesting for us, because that is one of our primary goals, primary use cases, to really help with these computational intensive problems. And that's something which yeah, can really help us here in let's say our business to convince yeah, potential customers that yeah, we can really help them.
Okay, so India, in the Indian partner as your first use case, also interesting to see, and now using that cooperation to enter the German market. So it's would be my understanding of it. So and how is the cooperation go? I wonder sometimes. I mean, I've been 2 years to India. I wonder sometimes one is endeavoring in these international cooperations. Would be a cooperation on a national level easier for you, Jens? Or how is it going intercultural wise? Are you facing any problems?
Actually, that is going quite smoothly. I would say because of two reasons. On the one hand, there is a strong personal connection, and on the other hand, we are yeah, really yeah, working in let's say quite orthogonal fields, so to say. So we are, let's say, focusing really on the computational side, and yeah, they know that yeah, we can do this thing, and they are, let's say, doing their yeah, biochemistry thing, which I really don't know what they are doing in detail there, because I'm not a biochemist. That's the role of Prashant and his team there in Bangalore.
So it's really complementary. Mitun, you said you have 2 German co-founders, no? How is this benefiting your product? So what is the Indian perspective you're bringing in, and what is the German perspective they bring in? We know from international setting that's important, but how you would say working in a team, yeah, how it's benefiting your development, being in an international team?
I think it's benefiting on a big scale, because normally, like we have in Thuringia, there are a lot of startup events, and mostly the startup events are in German. So in airport, you have a lot of startup events coming. The next month, we have an investor day in the airport. All these events are in German, and I think they make a better job there. Like they will go there and present it, and that's much better than if I try. So that's I think, and also a lot of bureaucratic issues with the university, like, and for everything that we buy, there's a lot of bureaucracy that goes on about getting the tenders and looking for tenders. All these things are purely in German, and I think they do a better job in with getting things done, talking with customers here, and all those stuff. They do a better thing. And then since we are also trying to go to India. So we are trying to work with IIM Bangalore as well in trying to do a pilot study of our project. So we are developing our technology, hardware, software, everything, and then we go to India and try to get as much data. So getting data in Germany is really hard. So whereas getting data in India is comparatively easy. So we are trying to get a lot of data from India, and then validate all our systems, because one of our target customer group is insurance. Like, if we can sell our technology to insurance companies and use our user-based insurance, that there will be a big scope for our business. And it is really almost impossible to get that data in Germany, whereas we think it is much easier in India. So at the end of the year, we are going to India, get as much data as possible. Once we have data, then we can use this data to validate all of our models, and then we can also use that in Germany. So that's how we are complementing each other.
Okay, and interculturally, it's working well?
Yes, it's working well. So we cannot meet as often as we could because of Corona. We have restrictions. Just now we have this rule in Vienna that we can meet, because until last week or something we were not able to meet. So we are meeting through Skype and stuff like that. But then, yeah, it's culturally, the language that we work is in English, so all of us speak English. So that's how we communicate with each other. Yeah, we go for dinner, we play together, we play squash. So it's nice. So the
Good.
cultural difference is not really. I think we all enjoy each other's company, so it's not a problem.
Okay, good. Alexander, I have a question for you. You said you know you founded in both places. So what were the bit of difficulties or challenges you were facing in India? We tackled legal issues, but maybe also other issues. So I mean, from my own personal experience coming to India, it's a huge change, if one comes from Germany. So maybe you can share a bit of insights. What were your challenges for the company, but also maybe on a personal level in going international with your startup?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I think compared to the other speakers here, it's a very different experience for me because it's not just a tech-based thing. We are in the manufacturing business, and that is, I would say, a completely different domain and experience, maybe. Yeah, therefore, it's has definitely not been that smooth. For us, we had a lot of issues when it came to quality things, or quality, and also time reliability. I would say are like the main issues, which are also ongoing and probably will forever be in a way there, and have to be accepted in a way. And we are honestly also still searching for improving our processes in order to overcome these issues. So mainly it's not so much within our team, and I can actually second that. It's very important to know the people you're working with well, so to have partners, which you have maybe even a longer and also close relationship with, is very important, because the understanding of how business is made is very different in Germany compared to India, I would say. And especially when it comes to the manufacturing sector, I would say it might be a bit different in the tech domain, because that is more influenced from American maybe standards or European standards, whereas the manufacturing sector is, and especially in our domain, which is very local industry. As I said, quality is one of the main issues that we, of course, also when it comes to packaging in the food domain, we of course have to ensure that it's hygienic, and that it's manufactured in a proper way. And we could not in the beginning not really assure that, and we got products which were definitely not we were not able to sell in the way we wanted, and that also slows down the process a lot, because then you have to go back and have certain loops in improving the standards and explain again what you want. And another very important thing is, I guess, that we Germans are very direct in the way we discuss problems, whereas in India that is not so common. So it would rather, you would not directly tell somebody that if there is a mistake or something, you would not tell you made a mistake. It's just not a common practice. So you kind of have to tell it a bit around the corner, basically, and not directly say it, which is very tough for us because we want to solve problems fast. And these are things we discuss a lot within our team, where it becomes so important to know the people you're working with well, because then only you can explain or discuss certain things in a very private way, and also talk about issues which you may not be able with people you don't know well, because I hope that could be made clear.
Good. Thank you so much. So we have a question coming in from our audience, a very specific one. There's a startup, but I think the second part of the question is really what can be the scope in Germany and which type of accelerators, incubators one should apply for scaling. But maybe we're taking a bit to the experience in the incubators and scaling. I think incubating in a research area is always good. So Mitu, what is your experience? Is it worth, and what is the advantage of going into an incubator at the German university?
As far as the CoPilots is concerned, we are incubated at the university. So what we get out from the university is like a lot of support in terms of for example, there are a lot of funding opportunities. For example, we got a Kickstarter funding from the university, but then there are also funding opportunities like an Access program is there, which is again a university-based funding. And the good thing about university-based funding is that unlike the venture capital or angel investors, you don't have to pay back. They are like more or less look at the credibility of the technology and innovation, and then they will fund you. So that's one advantage. But at the same time, the disadvantage is it's much more bureaucratic and it's more time consuming. Whereas an investor, whereas if you go for a normal angel investors or venture capitalists, they are there and everything will be much faster. So if it's a government university, then what we see is like at least we have to get a lot of if any amount more than 1,000, we have to get more tenders to and there should at least 3 tenders to get anything. So even for a small things like a website development, everything we have to go through this process. But that's make it a bit slow. But yeah, so if you go to a private investors, that will be much faster.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So thanks for that reply. Maybe to tackle that one. So there's a lot of funding in the system, no equity, but as you mentioned, a lot of bureaucratic work behind. But I would to underline and also to answer the question, maybe that at the moment incubators are really looking for international clients. I know from the Technical University of Munich, Aachen, there are big programs set up. I think the project of CoPilots is a good project. So they are looking to facilitate soft landing for companies or for startups coming from abroad. So it's worth to look at the big technical universities and also at the smaller ones like Jena, and there's good scope and it's necessary to look at then the topics of the incubator are fitting. So thanks for the question to VRRT2. I would encourage the audience, if you have questions, please put them in the chat or in the Q&A pod. We will take them up here to answer them related to going to Germany, going to India to work internationally. Jens, what are your challenges in working with ICube, you sitting in Germany, ICube being 7,000 kilometers far away? Are you facing challenges in your cooperation?
Well, for sure there is the time shift, but that's not something India specific. So that's also what you have with US or something. So I'm usually attending calls with, for example, US, India, and Taiwan. So that's, I would say that's the usual thing. Apart from that, as said, because we are really working on quite orthogonal topics, it's quite easy to divide up the work, so to say. So we don't have any specific challenges with respect to that. It's let's say that far apart. I would say if you're really working on, let's say, one specific problem in the same field, then it's probably much more difficult, as I have experienced in another context, so to say. So when you really need to sit down and work for a week or so, then it's going to be more difficult, I would say.
Okay, good. So seems to be a bit easier in the domains where you do the calculating, the models, and so on. And then Alexandra, I think, made it pretty clear that if you're into production, then you're facing immediately other problems being on site and so on. So Mitu, coming back to you, so your intent not to go bring your startup also to India. how you will do this? Can you just do an out, or you just a branch, or so technically how one has to do it if one works internationally? Is it easy to establish a branch company, for instance, in India?
At the moment, we are in the talks with. We already had one small conversation with the Indo-German Chamber of Commerce about how they can help us. We also have an accelerator in Bangalore, fintech accelerator. So they have a lot of connections. So we are trying to do that. So the idea is like we go to any of the accelerator in India, and through them we get a lot of connections. So our target is mostly the public transportation. So that's where I think the German Chamber of Commerce can really help us because they are a government organization, so they may have more access to the government or public companies, public transport. So yeah, so in future it will be more as we will also have an Indian company or we have to register in India. Because if we want to sell something, we have to be registered in India. So in future, that's something that we will have to do it. Like we will be registering as a private limited company or something like that in India to have our business in India. But we will be more we are going to India, but India won't be our final market. We want to have bigger plans of going to other low and medium income countries, and India will be the best use case study. Like once we have it is successful in India, I think it can be successful in Africa or Latin America. So since our product is targeting to the mobility and make safe driving to everyone, and if you look at accidents, more of accidents are almost 60 or 70% of accidents happening in low and medium income countries. And India will be a best place for us to test our model, learn learn about it, and then further go to other countries. So we see like that.
Okay, so we tackled a bit the funding and you talked about equity and then the funding available in Germany being from the public money. So Alexandra, how was it for you? Did you receive some support? Was it private money? Was it public money for building up your production, for building up the two startups, the one in India and the other one in Germany?
Yeah, we actually so far only relied on public money as a choice, I have to say. So we started with an incubator program, which was very helpful initially, to actually shape our concept and like have a business plan and so on. But it did not help us so much within the phase of scaling up now. And then we luckily got another kind of scholarship, which was Climate Kick. I don't know if you know that. It's also a European incubating or accelerator program, basically. And yeah, we were very lucky because we were just chosen without even applying for it. We applied before to it actually and were not chosen. And then later they had a second program where they chose the participants, which was really great for us, and we got chosen. And that helped us actually very much in the second phase. We have not chosen private money so far because of actually the challenges we have in India, and we were always we kind of agreed within the team that we want to settle our issues first, and then we have a much better option to negotiate with any private investors. But we had interest in that, where there were private investors also showcasing their interest, which is great. But yeah, we have chosen public money so far. And it is, as Mithun said, great because there's no equity, and that is also one thing why we would always in a way prefer that. But yes, it is also more bureaucratic, and slow, and sometimes even the money is very bound on certain projects, so you cannot choose where to use it for, which makes it more complicated. So it always has a pro and a con, for sure.
Okay, Jens, how is it for Parax then? Because you funded as a GmbH, which is a private company in a way. Was it incubated in a university, or did it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. So we before actually doing or founding Paracent, there was some public money, so some I'm not sure how to call this, some startup funding, so to say, for 2 years. Which basically enabled us to do product development, which enabled us because we basically have a hardware platform for acceleration, so for doing these things we are capable of doing now. So that was basically public money with no equity in the end, to let's say enable this, and then afterwards we founded Paracent and put in, let's say, this money for the GmbH. So for the how it's called in English, limited company or whatsoever, which was not that much of an issue because we divided that across the co-founders. So that was just a couple of €1,000 then. And then basically we try to grow the company without really needing any private or let's say equity based money. So there were some offers from investors, but as we are, let's say, having we are more, I would say, at least Paracent, more a spin-off than a startup, so to say. So we are currently mainly, so most of our customers are really engineering service customers. So it's basically time for money. So working, so developing their products. So we are also developing our own. So it's, let's say, we think, at least for the situation of Paracent, that it's better to grow, let's say, a little bit slower without relying on other people's money and keeping all the equity to ourselves. I guess the situation is different for CubeBio, because they are really more like focusing more on the startup side of things. They have also angel investors and use their connections there in the research area to really gain funding. There is some substantial investment in CubeBio, which has happened from also private investors. So that's but they are really focusing on this central idea, and then there needs to be lots of development which needs to go on. We also tried to have let's say to apply for some incubator, pharma-based incubator in Germany together with CubeBio, but that did not work out so far. In general, I would say, because there was also the question in the chat, what to apply for, and there is always the decision whether it should be private or public one. I would say when you're really ready to scale, so when you have validated your idea, when you're ready to scale, then I would say it's the right thing to go for private money, because then you can share equity. When you are still in your development phase, when you know, okay, this is not, let's say, the idea that I can scale out of the box so well, so to say, then you should be careful with selling your equity, so to say.
Yeah, good. Yeah, but I think it's also a bit the approach in the German system coming out, at least the startups coming out of science, that there's really a lot of public funding, but equal also like this in India. And but really to mention that the German incubators, others than incubators, for instance, the US, are not taking equity when they are in public universities. So would really engage the audience. If you have questions, our session is come slowly to an end. Please put them in the chat so that we can take them take them up for experience sharing. So I think we had a good view into the international journey of our panel here. So if you would have to give one hint to our interested audience who wants maybe to go international, to scale up or take the startup international, what would be the recommendation you would give the audience, Mithun?
Recommendation will be, it's hard. Germany is a hard place, I think, if you are a foreigner, especially the language barrier is there. So that you have to take into account. And another thing is the problems that you are solving in India and the problems for you solving in Germany is too different, I think. They are totally different things. For example, when we started, we had this question about so accidents, road problems. These are big problems in India, in developing countries, in emerging economies. But if you come to Germany, road accident is not that a big problem. I mean, here German roads are really nice, driving really nice, accidents are really less. So where we have a different strategy, we have to work with car sharing companies or logistic companies. So the problems and the solutions are different for two countries. So one problem is in India, it doesn't work in Germany. So that is something that you have to be very aware of. So I think these are the two things I think you should be very wary about when you are coming to the problems and the language. Language is definitely a big problem. Yeah, if you don't speak German. So.
Yeah. Alexandra, what would be your recommendation?
I would say, yeah, I would say, I think that was already mentioned, is definitely have reliable partners, which you, in the best case, know privately already, or get to know them well. That is very crucial for us. A second thing is definitely inform yourself well about the place you're going. I think there's nothing worse than just planning to start somewhere new where you have no idea of the place. Yeah, so that is very important. And another thing is maybe take or plan more time than you initially thought. So we would have thought processes would be much faster and smoother, and it's taking much more time than we expected. That can though be different in different domains and sectors. So I can speak only for the manufacturing sector, and there things can get very complicated. So definitely plan time.
Yeah, Jens, what you would be your recommendation?
Can only second what has already been said. So on the one hand, try to build a really personal connection, and that really helps. Also in terms of, let's say, how can you trust and what are the let's say what are the different viewpoints and different expectations on the one hand. And on the other hand, really, if you are trying to do business locally, have a local native speaker and local guy to help you with, as also that was already mentioned by some of my colleagues here. So that is, I would say, the two key facts, so to say.
Okay, good. That brings us a bit to the end. So yeah, I think my takeaway would be one has to have reliable partners, and in best case one knows them. I think that's the basis where one builds up things. It's not just landing somewhere out of the blue and then getting to know the scene and then taking the time to build it up. So thanks to our panelists, thanks to the audience. We will tackle the topic of science entrepreneurship in the next upcoming months as the German Center for Research and Innovation, and we have two wonderful possibilities upcoming. There is the call for the international pitch competition, Falling Walls, so you could apply, participate in the National Indian Lab, and then maybe be amongst the finalists and win a trip to Berlin. And we also will offer some prizes in form of coaching. So have a look if you have a good idea. If you want, maybe reach out to Germany, touch base, get a first taste of Germany in the field. That would be a good opportunity. So a pitch competition. And at the 27th of August, we will run a day for young researchers and innovators. It's called Innovators Connect. This is an excellent opportunity where you can share, expand your international network. We're going to have workshops offered by Incubators from Germany and India. You can share your ideas in lightning talks and discuss with founders, but also with funding agencies, as the funding topic was upcoming. And at last but not least, the national final of the Falling Labs will take place at the 27th of August. So thanks again, Jens, Alexandra, Mitun, for being here today. I think that was good insights into your journeys in different ways of cooperation between India, Germany, be it an idea brought to Germany, then brought back to India, be it a startup funded in Germany, going to India and then to the world, or be it a cooperation between an Indian and a German startup company, where India is the first use case to accelerate to go to the German market. I think we had quite a good insight what is possible in the international field. It's not always about just taking your startup internationally. You can cooperate in much different ways and in a variety of ways. So thanks again for being here with us today.
Thank you, Katja, for organizing.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, good. I hope we stay in touch, and if the audience, if you have questions regarding the Indian and German innovation ecosystem, touch base